All right, so like I said a couple times throughout the last 2 weeks, this unit is all about writing equations in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, also known as yo mama's x. So there's 5 different ways that we can write these equations. We're going to start with the simplest, work our way towards the most difficult. So we're going to start with the first way, which is from a slope and a y-intercept. This is by far the easiest way for us to write an equation because we just take the m that we're given, we take the b that we're given, and we plug them in. So let's say that our m is equal to 2. We've got a y-intercept at the point 0, -3. My m is 2. My b is, of course, -3. So we can write the equation y is equal to 2x minus 3. No math involved there at all. We're just replacing the m with the m, replacing the b with the b, and that's all we got to do. Let's make it a little bit trickier for us with the second way that we can write a linear equation, and that is from a slope and a point on the line. From a slope and a point on the line. So let's say we've got m is equal to 3, and we're going through the point 2, 4. Now this one looks a lot like our first method for writing an equation, except the point that we're given is not our y-intercept. So we can't just take the y value and plug it in because our x value is not 0. Right? So we have to do a little bit more work. We know that b is equal to y minus m times x. Two is my x, 4 is my y, and 3 is my m. So we can plug those in. And we got tons of practice with this. 4 minus 3 times 2. What would 3 times 2 give us?
6.
6. And 4 minus 6.
3.
Close?
Oh, 2.
Even closer? -2. There we go. -2. And that's my B. Therefore, we can write the equation. Y is equal to, what was my slope again? What's my m? 3. It's given to us in the problem. Y is equal to 3x. And then what was my b?
Oh, -2.
Negative 2. 3x minus 2. So slightly more work than our first method, but still not too bad. While you guys get that copied down, we'll pass out a little graph for each of you. Don't glue it in just yet. I'll let you guys know when, as always. So before we get to the graphs, let's talk about our third way to write an equation. What we just went over on worksheet 25, and that would be from 2 points on the line. So again, we're going to be very similar to our second method, just a little bit more work, because now we're not going to be given our m, we're going to have to find it. For example, let's say we've got a line that goes through the points 1, 3 and 4, 6. First, we got to find m. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If we go through and label our points, we'll call them x1, y1, x2, y2. We can plug all those in. Y2 minus y1 would be 6 minus 3. X2 minus x1 would be 4 minus 1. I'm going to wait there for a second so you guys can catch up. I feel like I'm going too fast. Six minus 3 is going to give us what in our numerator? 3. And 4 minus 1 gives me what on the bottom? 3 again.
Equal 1.
That's right. 3 divided by 3 gives us a slope of 1. So now we know what our m is. Now, we have to do exactly what we did in step 2, or not step 2, but in method 2, to find b. b is equal to y minus m times x. And just like in method 2, we're going to plug in our m. We're going to plug in our first point with an x of 1 and a y of 3. And we'll solve it out, see what we get. So b is equal to something minus something times something. My y was 3. My m that we just found was 1. And my x is also 1. 1 times 1 is, of course, just 1. And 3 minus 1 gives me what? 2. That's going to be my B. So we know that M is 1, B is 2. We say that Y is equal to 1x plus 2. Or we could say y is equal to x plus 2. Don't need that 1 in front of our x. You can put it if you want. It's not going to be one of those things where you get points taken off for doing that because it's not wrong. If you feel more comfortable with a number in front there, perfect. If not, also perfect. So hopefully you can see we're kind of building up our difficulty from method 1 to method 2 to method 3. We're doing a little bit more each time, but we're using the same kinds of things, right? B equals y minus mx was what we did in the second method, right? And in the first method, it was super easy. We didn't have to do any math at all. We were given our m, given our b. In method 2, we were given our m, but we had to find our b. And in method 3, we had to find our m, and we had to find our b. So building up difficulty each time. Now let's do two things that are completely different from any of this. I'm going to give you like 20 seconds to keep copying. I see some pencils still writing, and then I got to flip over. Yes?
When you finish the notes, can you do that?
Sure. All right. Fourth method. We're going to write the equation.
When are we going to use this?
Right now,
Oh, okay.
from the graph of a line. This is where we're going to glue our little graph square in. You're going to plot the points 0, comma, -6 and 3, comma, 0 on that graph. Zero, -6 and 3, comma, 0. Your line will look just like that. Anyone remember how we can find the slope of a line when we're given a graph like this? Bless you. Bless you. A certain method, something over something. Rise over run, right? Whenever we have a graph, The easiest thing for us to do is count. Now, because we have these 2 points here, technically we could use the slope formula like we did in method 3 right here to find m. But that's a little bit more math than I want to do, and it's a lot easier for us to get confused. So m is going to be my rise over my run. I'm going to start on my leftmost point. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to start on my leftmost point. I'm going to count how many units that I rise until I'm on the same level as my second point. So from this leftmost point, are we going to rise up or are we going to rise down? We're going to rise up. Let's count the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces up. So my rise is going to be 6. Now I'm going to run to the right. We always run to the right. 1, 2, 3 spaces to the right. So my denominator here will be 3. Rise over run gave us 6 over 3. 6 over 3 simplifies to be what? 2. Boom. That's my m. Now B is where the line crosses the y-axis. My y-axis is of course going to be this vertical axis here. And where does that line cross that yellow y-axis? At -6. So B is equal to -6. So my m is 2. My b is -6. We can write the equation. Y is equal to 2x minus 6. Now this method is not as difficult, I would say, as the last one, because method 3, a little bit more math involved, more work for us to do. This is a lot more visual for us, right? So if you're a visual type learner, you like seeing the physical moves, this might work better. All these different methods you're going to have to use on the test on Friday. That's why we're reviewing them all right now. You have them all in one central place in your notebook to go back and look at. One more and we'll get started on our study guide here. The last, but not the least. Huh? I said what? No, I said this was the next one. The last one, from a table. I'm gonna let you know right now. The test is 75% tables. All right. So hopefully, we got a good understanding of how to find a slope from a table, how to find a b from a table. This is what we did on that worksheet where we expand the table to the left or the right, all that good stuff. So let's say we've got a table here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. X on the top, Y on the bottom. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we got 8 and 5 in the middle on the bottom there. What's something we notice about this table right away when we look at it? Darius, what do we notice?
There's an 8 and 5.
There's an 8 and a 5. Good. What isn't there?
Oh, wait. Oh.
Yeah. A 4. There's a 4 right there.
I mean, we got 2. I mean,
There's a 2 right there. Devin, what's missing?
6.
6? Not necessarily a number, but is there something missing from this table? Non-repeat?
0.
0? Good. That's absolutely right. We are missing an x value of 0. What else are we missing? The first and the last y value. This is something you're going to see on the test. You have to fill out the rest of this table. I appreciate all those thoughts. You're all correct. We are missing all of those things. So we'll get to finding the 0 in a second. But let's figure out how to fill out this table. Any ideas on how we'd be able to get these missing boxes figured out, Ida? Subtract 8 and 5. Good. How do we get from 8 to 5?
Minus 4.
Minus
Oh,
3.
That's
So if we just follow this pattern, what's going to come after the 5? 2. What's got to come before that 8 if we subtract 3? 11, right? We're getting larger as we go to the left. 11 minus 3 is going to give us that 8. So we know that my change in y is negative 3. What's my change in x on the top?
plus 1.
Plus 1. Thank you, sir. Sirs. Multiple. Plus 1. So my m is equal to the change in y over the change in x, which in this case is negative 3 over 1. And that simplifies to be what? Negative 3. Boom. That's my m. Even though a lot of the stuff we've talked about in this unit is different, one central thing is the same. You got to find your m, you got to find your b, you got to plug them in to write the equation. It's the same thing for all these different scenarios. We're on our 5th different setup, and we're still finding m, we're still finding b, and we're still plugging them in to Yo Mama's ex-boyfriend. Now, there's 2 ways for us to find b here, if you remember. The first way is for us to take this m, take one of these points, and basically do exactly what we did in the second method. But because we already did that in the second method, I'm going to do step 2b, which is to expand my table. So if I want to find b, if I want to find b, I got to expand my table to the left or to the right?
Left.
To the left. How do we know we're going to the left?
Minus 5.
'Cause well, if I look at my x values, right, I'm looking for an x of 0. Would 0 be to the left of 1 or to the right of 4 on a number line?
Left.
Left of 1. So, if we're going plus 1 to the right, we're going to do the opposite going to the left, which would be minus 1, and that would give us an x value of 0. That's what we're looking for. But that doesn't mean our b is 0, because we got to do the opposite of minus 3 on the bottom. What's the opposite of minus 3? Plus 3. 11 plus 3 gives us what? 14. Boom. That y value there is my b. We found that negative 3 was our m. And we can write the equation y is equal to negative 3x plus 15. Oh, my bad. Yeah, 14. Good catch.